welcome. We are watching True Facts, Incredible Crab Stories by Z Frank. He also makes inappropriate jokes.
Sponsored by Babbel. Right here is an island called Christmas Island because the person who named it first saw it on Christmas. Not that creative, but I suppose better than Today Island. And if it'd been distracted, might have been Yesterday Island. So
if I had an island, I would call it Island Melia. Did you really think I was going to go with something better than that?
Not bad considering. Anyway, Christmas Island is home to, among other things, many species of crabs. And a number of those, like this red crab here, are land crabs. This means that these crabs have adaptations that let them live completely out of the water. And
they're land crabs. Look at them. They're so bright and red.
in burrows on the inner parts of the island. With one caveat, and it's a big one. Once a year, around the start of the rainy season, 65 million of these crabs leave the interior of the island and head for the sea. These crabs are on a mission to get laid. And that means that
Why do these crabs move like they're plastic?
they'll climb fences and cross bridges, and they're not waiting for the crossing guard, I'll tell you that much. These crabs are protected by law, and the cars even have special rings around their tires to push them out the way. The males will arrive at the coastline first and dig breeding burrows, where they will mate with females and then turn right around and head home, typically.
They dig breeding burrows? What kind of sussy caves is that?
Now, the females will stay in their burrows for about 2 weeks while they brood their babies right on their bellies. When it is time, the females enter the water and they're gonna shake all the babies off.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
The crazy thing here, the other crazy thing here is that these crabs lost the equipment to be in the water, so if they stay down there, they'll drown. Some serious risky baby making. The eggs hatch almost immediately on contact with the water, and little crab larvae emerge. This is the only time in their lives
How many
where they
times?
adapt.
Upwards of, I don't know, like maybe close to 10 times.
10 times, oh wow.
Impressive.
10 times you've gone, ew, wow.
To living in water. They'll stay down here for about a month of growth, and then, well, it's time to be a land crab. They're very, very cute. But there's a shitload of them. Like, this is the kind of shitload that puts other shitloads to shame. Right when people started removing the weird tire things for the big crabs, now there's a carpet of millions of baby crabs. And you can't step on them. It's not easy to train for a marathon on Christmas Island, I'll tell you what. Gotta run with a leaf blower strapped to your crotch, apparently. Now, if you have a lot of crabs about, check, then there's probably going to be a number of things that want to eat those.
The old crab with eggs are eating the eggs. The old crab that is about to go blah, 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 in the water, because you can see their baby belly go, they are eating other crab babies.
Crabs. I mean, cannibalism is a bit distasteful, but you'll forgive an expecting mother a few dietary quirks, won't you? But a mama cannibal
It's just a pregnancy craving.
is the least of their worries. You'll see. You know what crabs is in German? Krabben.
Krabben, yeah, the Krabben.
Excuse me. I'm using Babbel to, relearn German. It was
Wait, Z Frank weißt du Deutsch?
my first language, but I recently went
Wait, Z Frank is German?
to Frankfurt to film some sea creatures. Don't ask. And realized that my German skills have fallen to the level of a drunk 8-year-old.
Yeah, that is my German skills too. A drunk 8-year-old.
It started a bit
Die
dark, but
Wunde.
it is German, but that's what's cool. It's not Hans eats apples. It's real talk. You find Frau Wilbur's on the floor, you gotta know how to help her. And that's what I like about Babbel. You can start off as a beginner without feeling babied, or
Does anybody try out Babbel before? I'm always looking for a good learning app to learn languages.
dive right into something specific.
Anwesend sein.
Anwesend sein. And the speech recognition works. I know, I tested it. Blah, 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 blah. They've got a whole bunch of live courses, too. Like this one. Lerne verschiedene Kunstformen kennen und äußere deine Meinung dazu.
His German is good. He has a good German accent.
One's fully booked. It's why I need Babbel. I can say it, but I don't understand it. Babbel is one of the top learning apps in the world. What language do you want to learn? Click the link below to get 60% off your subscription. Danke. And now
Dankeschön!
The Krabben. Where were we? Oh, right. Sure, a mother might eat a baby or two, but what red crabs really have to worry about are these little bastards. Tens of
Red
millions
ants!
of crabs on Christmas Island have been killed by them. They're called yellow crazy ants, not the good kind of crazy either. They're a type
You crazy ants. The crazy ants. I was crazy once. Like, boom. What are you staring at? What are you staring at? Pepe? What are you staring at, Pepe? Pepe? Are you staring at Ark?
type of formicine ant, like Dr. Adrian Smith's Formica archboldi here, which means that they spray formic acid out their butts. The ants will swarm the
Kinky.
crabs and get the acid on their eye stalks and mouth parts and legs and all that, and they're screwed. But butt acid isn't the only thing they have to look out for. They got this fucking thing coming down from above. I mean, it's not so much of a precision
What is that?
strike. Looks a bit like hunting for rabbits with a sledgehammer. Anyway, you've heard of this one. It's another land crab called the coconut crab. I mean,
A coconut crab? No.
these things can get up to 3 feet across. And they're not just big, they're crazy strong.
They're also crazy. They're crazy strong. So crazy.
And pinchy with twice the force of a lion's bite. To handle that kind of force, their claws are made from this crisscrossing matrix of calcium carbonate. It's referred to as a plywood structure. It's kind of lame. I'd call it dragon steel. Anyway, they're impressive. The largest terrestrial invertebrate. Look at that, they climb trees. But that's not even the surprising bit about them. You know what is? Their abdomen, which is sort of tucked under them, is leathery instead of having a hard shell. That's because when they're babies, they start out like this. That's right, they're hermit crabs. They just kept growing and
Oh my god! They're hermit crabs!
ran out of things big enough to fit that ass. Now, hermit crabs have a bit of a shell fetish, some more than others, but it isn't just about finding a shell that fits. A number of terrestrial hermit crabs modify the inside of the shells they live in, hollowing them out to make them roomier and lighter.
Smart. Look at that. Engineering. How dare you, Mint? How dare you, Mint?
But still strong enough to withstand the biting force of the things that hunt them. Now, as they molt and grow, hermit crabs need to move into bigger shells, and
I love hermit crabs, Mint.
shells that have already been renovated are choice. So they'll often line up in what are called vacancy chains, which allows them to do their business quickly since it's a bit dangerous. And it means that most of the crabs get to move
See, Sapling knows to censor the Mint.
into a house
Mint.
with a finished basement, so to speak.
Look at that. They're like, you're smaller than me, so let's just take turns. We go one at a time, Mint. I go in bigger one, then you go in my old home, and then I go in your old home. And it's like a teamwork thing, Mint.
I do think the one that inherited the shell with a hole in it got a bit shafted. But of course, if you're in a hurry and don't have time to get in a conga line, the other option is to try and forcibly evict a crab from a bungalow you have your eye on. And this might be why
What the hell, Mint?
crabs that renovate their shells have larger penises. Stay with me on this one.
What?
So when hermit crabs mate, the male tries to coax the female to emerge from her shell and expose, kids cover your ears, the middle region of her cephalothorax. Can't believe I
Oh, wow, Mint.
didn't bleep that. Then the male deposits sperm on her, not in, on her, and she goes back in her shell and, well, does what she wants with it. Don't judge, you live in a shell your whole life. Kinky sex is all you have. Anyway, to expose his penis and deposit his sperm, the male has to partially leave his shell. And that means his shell can be stolen. And that's a normal thing to have to worry about when they get laid.
Imagine your house just gets stolen when you're out on a booty call, Mint.
So the theory is that crab species that invest more in their shells have proportionally much longer penises, as you can see here, so they can still hold on and protect their shells when they mate. Of course, hermit crabs aren't the only crabs that accessorize. The sponge crab, for example, is quite the milliner, or haberdasher, whatever, they're into hats. They just happen to make them out of living animals in the phylum Porifera, or
Showing animal genitalia is not against TOS, Mint.
sponges. The crab gets some stylish camouflage, and the sponge gets to move about, which is great because sponges lack, well, pretty much everything. But
Those crabs are so cute, though, Mint.
like those terrestrial hermit crabs, the sponge crab isn't always content wearing things straight out the box. You've got to customize it, get the fit right. Here you can see a sponge crab work its magic on a commercial sponge. The crab not only cuts it down to size, but it also hollows it out so it sits just right on top the dome.
Oh, that's so cute.
I mean, the fit's not perfect. It still has to hold on with 2 little modified pairs of legs in the back. Now, some decorator crabs, like this one in the genus Hyastinus, also wear sponges, but not...
Oh my god, the red sponges on the crab is so cute. I didn't even know there were so many crabs that wore sponges.
really as a hat. More like a full-body mascot for a banana stand. And that's what decorator crabs do. They put crap all over themselves and they don't need to use modified legs to hold on to what they're wearing. They're covered in a sort of Velcro, specialized barbed setting that can hang on to whatever's the current fashion trend. And that includes some
That's so
underwear that'll
cool.
f you up if you come in for an unwanted hug. Like coral polyps, they sting, or anemones like this one. Now, if you know your anemone anatomy, you'll know that they're shaped a bit like a bag. Come on, you've got to take advantage of that if you're a crab. A number of crabs in the genus Pagoropsis grow up with an anemone friend on their butts. And they
Oh my god, that's so wicked. The little hairs just gluing onto things. They look like burritos. They do. They look like they're all cuddled up in burritos.
can actually pull them up over their bodies like a blanket. And that's a cool thing for the crab.
blanket.
And of course, the anemone. Win-win. Or you could turn the anemone around and pretend you're a rocket. Look, I'm a rocket. I mean, but come on, this looks like two buddies having fun together. Like Calvin and Hobbes, if Hobbes was firmly attached to Calvin's ass. Now, the boxer crab, on the other hand, well, both hands reading, has a different relationship with anemones. They spend their lives carrying anemones in their front claws. It's pretty much impossible to find one that doesn't have these little pom-poms. Oh, look at the lips on that one. The claws seem to have been adapted to the job. They're fairly tiny, and they have these little pores all over them, which seem to be sensory, helping to make sure the anemone is being held in the right position. Of course, this means that those two front claws are out of commission for those normal claw activities. But remember, these aren't ordinary mittens. Here's a shot of an octopus right after it was just touched by one of those little stinging oven mitts. It's got a real get-me-the-f*** out-of-here vibe.
Oh, it's like little jellyfish hands. It's literally like little jellyfish hands.
And here's a fish about to take it in the eyeball.
Oh,
But
that
it's
would
not
hurt.
just about defense. Those tentacles are grabby-grabby. Look at that anemone pluck that shrimp right out the water. And then, look at the crab take it away. You know, he's got another set of claws back there. Look at him holding the anemone at arm's length while he munches. I mean, it's a bit f***ed up, but it gets worse. These crabs seem to intentionally starve the anemones to keep them just the right size. If you take them off the claws and let them eat normal, they grow big, even change shape.
They starve them. Oh my god. They starve the amenities.
And to add injury to insult, you know what happens when a boxer crab loses one of those little boxing gloves? It friggin' tears the other one in half. I mean, they are good at regenerating, but still. I mean, you'd rather be a butt rocket, wouldn't you? Now, there is one time that the crab has to let go of its precious anemones, when it molts and sheds its skeleton. You can see that transparent, newly molted crab behind its old body, and the first thing it does is to reach around and grab that pom-pom. Now, molting is a whole thing for crabs. Gotta crack yourself open
Molting is so interesting. Imagine if humans molted.
from the back and shimmy out. It's complicated, especially the legs, for gosh sakes. It's a vulnerable time for a crab. It's like when you try to change a bathing suit under a towel on the beach, except the towel is the skin. I don't know. Just be glad you don't have to molt. Comes on all of a sudden and you're naked, wriggling on the floor of your cubicle. Janet from accounting comes in all...
I wonder how long it takes them to regenerate their skin when they molt.
Oh, sweetie, is there anything I can do to help? No, Janet. Just leave me alone until I harden up a bit. And then you hear down the hall, tell everyone Dave wants to be alone while he gets hard. And now it's just a countdown to when HR shows up and you're still trying to get your left toe out your old skin. Like this bastard here. Listen, the point is, it's a time when the crab can't really move and they're all baby soft. And you've seen what we do to soft-shell crabs. At least hermit crabs can do it in the privacy of their own home. And
That's true. Hermit crabs can just molt and then go back into their little shells and just stay there.
some species bury their molts afterwards. The thinking is that they're trying to hide the evidence from predators that there's a newly molted delicious crab
That makes sense. I wonder how long it takes for them to harden after molting.
Around. And they do a good job of it, too. No one ever tells them that. Except me just now.
Good job, crabs. You guys do such a good job at molting.
Spider crabs Leptomithrax giamardi make a whole production out of molting. Each year, thousands and
It's the meme crab.
thousands of these crabs make a trek from the deep, where they live, to the shallow waters off the coast of Australia. It's a lot of crabs and a long trip, so you can't blame one for sitting down, cross-legged, and having a little raw bar clam. When they get to where they're going, they form these giant pyramids of crab. I know what you're thinking. Orgy, right? But it doesn't seem like that's what they're up to. I mean, I'm sure there's a few of them diddling somewhere in the middle, but instead this seems to be a strategy to stay safe while they molt. They're like, come on, join the pile, it's safety in numbers. Okay, but I'm on the outside. It's all right, just convince a couple others to cover you up. You'll be fine. It's like a literal pyramid scheme.
This is so fascinating. I didn't know big, huge crabs did this.
But whatever they're doing seems to work, even with predators about looking for a soft bite. Now, molding doesn't just replace everything that's there. It can also regenerate a part of the body that's missing. And if we're on that subject, some male fiddler crabs have a secret. If you are one,
They can regenerate? That's so cool.
and you're watching, the jig is up. I'm ratting you out. Here's the deal. You may have noticed that the male fiddler crab has one really big f***ing claw, or BFC for
Yeah, why does this fiddler guy have such a big claw? This is not the first time we've seen it. We've seen this guy before.
short. Got a lifetime membership to the BFC Society. Now, these claws have two main functions. One is to intimidate and potentially fight other males. They have burrows and a homestead to protect, and sometimes might be another male just talking shit. And for a fight, you probably want a big, meaty, muscular claw. But the other function of their BFC is, well, dating. Female fiddler crabs, whose claws are much more proportionate and well-suited to eating
Also, that's such a pretty color. Look at her. She's purple.
dirt, among other things, are attracted to males with big, long claws. But not just any crab with a big, long claw. A crab with a big, long claw that says, hey! And that's what the males do on a Saturday night. They wave and try to get a female over to the burrow.
Hey!
But it's not just the size of the equipment, it's the way that they wave that matters too. I mean, it varies from species to species, but generally a female likes a male that waves first. What can happen, though, is clusters of males all try to wave first, and they end up waving in unison. Kind of backfires. So females also like males that get in some extra waves in between the group wave. All that waving can add up, and you can see how for mating you'd want a long claw that's light, so you can keep waving until you get a date. So you can see there's two competing pressures on the size and weight of the claw. Male fiddler crabs seem to strike a balance between the two, strong enough to be effective and not get crushed in a fight, but long and light enough for attracting a mate. But there's things that like to eat crabs, and if your claw's half your body, they'll probably go for that first. But crabs have evolved these breakage points designed to let the crab lose a leg or claw and make a getaway, like that one just did. Over the next few molts, that claw will grow back. Well, maybe not on that one. And about 40% of males or so have these regenerated claws.
That's so wicked. They can regenerate their claws.
When they finish growing, they're just as long or even longer than the original, but they're not strong. So there's a bunch of males out there bluffing their way out of fights with what is essentially a foam finger, and then waving it around with less effort to attract the females, which don't seem to notice the difference. But now you're all busted.
I mean, basically bird food.
I know what you want. You want the claw. Get out of here. I'm sorry, baby. Everything's fine. Go back to bed. Jeez. These crabs around here. Come around. Whoa. Sorry, Timmy. You believe that shit? Oh, hold on. Hey. It is, Larry. It's the definition of bad sportsmanship. No, you're not. No, you're not just pinching my shaft. And don't say that. It sounds wrong. God damn it, Larry.
God damn it, Larry. See, you know his videos are educational, chat, because he's citing actually referencing sources at the end of his videos. Actual sources. Actual sources. True education. But that was delightful. I love learning about crabs. I love crabs.